Welcome back to Ode to Ghosts. We're your hosts, Will.
And Audrey.
We have
And Ned.
and Schmitty. We
And
have
Schmidt.
a cat-filled episode for
Mm-hmm.
you today.
And no, we did not grab them and force them to come sit with us just for the
No,
video. They chose to do this.
I've been gone for about 3 days, 3 days,
Yeah.
and Schmitty here is extremely excited that he gets to chill with me now, and I'm extremely excited that he gets to chill with me now.
Yeah.
He might bonk the mic, but that's just gonna have to be what it is.
Yeah. The way this family works is we kind of each have our own cats in a way.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, we both love each of them equally, but each of them kind of gravitate towards
Yeah. But it's like
the two of us
I
differently.
technically saved Schmitty and you technically saved Ned.
Yeah.
So
So.
I wasn't going to allow Ned inside, but then you forced my hand.
Well, I'm glad I did. And you better be too.
Oh, I am. He's pretty cool. So no crazy life updates other than I'm bald now. Well,
oh, yeah.
Well, not like
Are you gonna
super
show?
bald, but I'm pretty close to bald compared to what I used to be. But let me tell you, it has been an incredible experience to not have hair down over my eyes all the time and to not have to like fix my hair whenever I put a hat on or whatever. I can just like,
Yeah. I'm sure that's nice.
yeah, it's super great. And also just like before I came home, we played golf today with my dad. Not we, but I. And I could just let it happen and not have to worry about like it blowing all over the place and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it was great. I played the best golf of my life today. Mind you, I suck. But this will show you how much I suck. I got my second ever legitimate birdie, which is like kind of sad.
It's okay.
But
Still a
the
big
irons,
accomplishment.
this is a golf podcast now. The irons were extremely, extremely pure. I had like maybe 2 or 3 like janky shots with irons, but everything else was like flying gorgeous. I almost sunk one.
Stop doing that to him. It looks like
no,
you're choking him.
He's resting his head on my hand. He loves it. I like hit the pin on one of the shots and it almost went in, and like I don't know, I was just having a great time. But yeah, happy Memorial Day. It's Memorial Day when we are recording
while we're
this.
filming this, yeah.
Thank you to all of our fallen men and women. You're probably not watching this, but you might be because it's Ode to Ghosts. But yeah. But seriously, thank you. I had somebody message my dad today and say thank you, but he's not dead. I guess they got confused because there's a big difference between Memorial Day and Veterans Day.
Oh, that's
yeah,
funny.
Yeah, that took you a minute. Yeah. Thank you to everybody who, regardless, thank you to everybody who has served and sacrificed their life, and we're very fortunate for you. But yeah. Today we have, do we have 4 stories? Do you have 2?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great.
Yep, one of mine is a little shorter. It's not really much of like a story, but there's a picture with it, so I thought it was...
I have a shorter story as well. So who would like to go first?
I can go first.
Sounds great.
Do you want the picture first or last?
First.
Okay. So this one is called I have a crazy intense nightmare. Let me start over. The title has a typo in it. I had a crazy intense nightmare last night and woke up to these scratches on my thigh.
Difference. I have been seeing, sorry, I don't think I've actually read it on Reddit, but I have been seeing a bunch of posts about like scratches on people's bodies and like on doors and stuff after crazy dreams and stuff. It's a little freaky.
Yeah. And the picture is kind of crazy because it is like very clear scratches.
Yeah.
Anyways, I've always been
Schmitty, no. Sorry.
I've always been, it's kind of funny. There's a typo in the first sentence as well. It's supposed to say I've always been in touch with the paranormal. It says I've always been iTunes with the
I
paranormal
have always been iTunes with the paranormal.
and often have experiences, but last night I was stuck in a sleep paralysis like state before seemingly going unconscious and had this intense nightmare about trying to protect my girlfriend from this spirit who wanted to harm her. This isn't the first time that I've dreamt about a spirit trying to harm her. The first time I woke up sweating and hyperventilating, and she woke up screaming and had a bruise on her shoulder where she said she got hit in her dream, but something was running she was from something she was running away from. She had a similar dream last night. Right before I woke up, the spirit reached its hand out to grab me right on my leg before I felt almost like an I don't know if this is a
Take your
typo or if
time.
I just have no idea what this word is. Expecto patronum.
Expecto Patronum from Harry Potter.
Expecto patronum. Okay, I don't know much about Harry Potter.
Incredible.
I've never heard that word
Expecto
before.
Patronum.
Never heard that before. I'm sorry.
Put that on a
It
t-shirt.
it felt almost like an expecto
Expecto Patronum.
patronum moment.
Holy shit.
What am I? I'm sorry.
That's like a big thing in pop culture
I've
though. Just like
never
in
heard of
general.
it. Okay. So
Expecto
sorry.
Patronum.
Moment of this bright blue and white light that appeared to emanate from its body. Could I have been physically affected by a spirit in my dreams?
I'm sorry.
What?
Expecto Patronum.
Anyways, this is the picture. Hold on, let me turn my brightness up.
Yeah, please do. Oh yeah.
Very
Is this person
clear
okay with us sharing their
4
legs
scratches.
on YouTube?
Well, they posted a picture of
Yeah,
their
I
leg
guess
to
so.
the public,
I'm
so
just making
yes.
sure.
But yeah, zoomed in, you can see it's pretty defined scratches.
That's freaky.
And it appears to be on the back of their leg, which is I don't know, strange place.
Yeah.
I feel like for scratches.
Did they mention having any
But
animals
no,
or not having
but
any
I
animals?
feel like if they that would be my first thought is if I woke up with scratches, I would be like, okay, well, were the animals around when this happened?
Yeah.
But yeah, they didn't mention it, so I would assume it's not part of it. Plus, they said that their girlfriend woke up with a bruise and also had a
Right.
bad dream
Yeah.
at the same time. So, which is kind of crazy, like them both having, like, I mean, I guess it's not a dream then, but like both having that same experience while sleeping, but like from different.
Maybe they both sleepwalk and beat each other up. They just like fight without knowing it.
Maybe, but
That's still like,
yeah,
I've been seeing so much of that, and it's like,
but plus they said that they saw the. Were you even like listening to the details of the story? They said that they saw the spirit reach out and grab their leg, and their scratches were where the spirit grabbed them.
yeah.
Okay, well then they weren't sleepwalking and fighting each other.
I just thought it would be funny.
Okay.
That's story number 1. That's it. That's all you
That
got.
is story number 1.
Schmitty,
Yes.
no, you're destroying everything. I apologize if he's bonking in your ears right now. He is going a little crazy right now. He
Yeah.
has missed his friend.
He also doesn't really. He's not the type of cat to just like find one spot and just lay there.
No,
He likes to move
he
around.
like flips and turns and all kinds of stuff. He might end up on his back here in a little while, which would be adorable. Get us,
Yeah.
Schmitty, turn over. Get us views. You can post you on the socials.
Yeah, we've been talking about starting like a pet account for them for a while. Well, it started with just Smitty, just
Smitty.
Schmitty. Oh my gosh, people say that all the time when they try to pronounce his name. I don't get it. But it used to be just with Schmitty because we didn't have Ned for a while at first.
Yeah.
But I still think it'd be fun to start a like cat account for them.
Yeah. You
Or
got
would
it.
that be kind of like stupid?
I used to
I
think it
don't
would be a
know.
great idea, but now I'm like, unless you're gonna run it yourself, I've got too much
I don't know if
going
I'm gonna
on.
do that actually.
Anyway, back
I don't
to the
know. But
story. Um, I was gonna say something. I hope you're doing okay because I hope you're not like further injured or scratched up.
yeah, maybe get out of that house you're living in or something if you can.
How long ago was that posted?
3 days ago. Or no, 1 day ago. My
Why
other
is it
story
always
was
more
3 days
freaky when
ago.
it just happened?
Yeah, 1 day ago. Let me read the comments really quick.
Go for it.
Someone said to set up a camera in their room to see what's actually happening. Like if they can see like them reacting to stuff or not.
I have a feeling that it would just like stop.
You think so?
Schmitty, you're bonking the microphone. You gotta settle down. Be more like Ned. He just plops and stays. Okay? I have a feeling I'm gonna have a lot of noise to, a lot of big waveforms to edit out because of you. Is there anything about the
Someone
comments?
else said me and my partner both had nightmares something was coming for us last night.
What is going on?
Different random person.
There's a pandemic of scratches.
Yeah, apparently. Of couples having sleep attacks. That's crazy.
Yikes.
I really hope we don't start having sleep attacks.
We're not even gonna think on it.
Okay.
Okay.
But yeah, there's a lot of people in the comments who are like, you probably just scratched yourself. And someone is
And bruised
clearly
yourself?
annoyed because they're like, this thread of responses is really something. We're here to discuss the possibility of paranormal explanations in the paranormal group.
What?
Obviously.
Some people just like, even if it's not true, like some people just can't have fun.
Yeah, true. Like, I feel like in a lot of stories like this where there could be explanations, I'm just like, but like, does it really matter? Because I don't know these
I mean,
people.
in this
I don't know
context,
what they're
yes,
going
because
on.
we're trying to share like real
But like,
stuff.
does it really matter though if it's not affecting me or like if I don't care and like I have nothing to do with it?
I mean,
It's not going to change
you
anything
can't
if I
please
decide to
everybody on
believe it or
social
not.
media, and that's
So
all
I'm
there
just going to have
is.
fun and be like, it's real. Ghosts are real. If it happened to me, I'd probably not want to accept it and just try to rationalize it. But
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, sleeping on your back all night and then having scratches on the bottom
Strap
of your
my
legs.
arms and legs down so there's no possibility it was myself.
Okay, we're getting a little crazy now.
Well, then I'll know for sure. Because then if I wake up and I'm still tied down and I have scratches on me, then I'll know that it was a
And that
ghost.
ghost is like, you are trying too hard, girl. You just need to believe.
Sure, then it wouldn't really be much of a fight for the ghost.
Yeah. It's not as fun.
Not as fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anywho. So my story Uno, was originally posted on the paranormal subreddit. But then they just like sent me an extended version of it because I asked about it, which is, I always love when people do that. Um, and it is submitted by Lana Del Gay. Love that name.
Perfect name. Love that.
Um, and I have pictures too.
Awesome.
It's not like proof pictures, but they used AI to try and generate what they saw. And this is what they saw. It's kind of crazy. All right, here we go. Jimmy, are you ready? It's gonna get crazy.
The
Awesome.
boys are ready. Yep.
Okay. I was 15 when this happened, so this would have been around 2011. 24. They're 24 now. Wait,
Redo that math, please.
I think I did 2015 and then 11 years old.
It's 29,
Oh,
depending on
14.
when their birthday is.
Yeah, totally. Anywho,
He never believes me when I tell him the answer to like math equations or anything like that. He has
I don't read
to
headlines. I don't believe everything
look
I
it up
read,
for
hear, or
himself.
see. I have to get evidence for myself,
Okay.
even if it takes me a little bit longer.
Okay.
All right. My family and I were having dinner on a Sunday evening at my grandma's farmhouse. Most of my family lives in several separate houses on a piece of farmland surrounded by 80 acres of woods in Appalachian, Ohio. They didn't even have internet until maybe
Wait,
10 years
do the Appalachian Mountains don't go to Ohio? Or is there a town called
of
that?
woods in it. I mean, it's kind of close. You could look.
The Appalachian Mountains are not in Ohio, I don't think.
I'll just keep reading while you're doing that. They didn't even have internet until maybe 10 years ago, so you can imagine how remote it is. After dinner that evening, maybe it's like right, maybe there is some like Appalachian
I'm
Mountains
looking it
directly
up.
on the like southern border or something. My geography is terrible, so if you don't know,
Appalachian, Ohio is a bioregion and political unit in the southeastern part of the state of Ohio,
that doesn't tell me anything.
characterized by the western foothills of the Appalachian Mountains.
There you go.
Okay. I didn't know that.
Learn something new every
Continue.
day. After dinner that evening, my 6 or 7 year old cousin left to go walk the 5 minute walk down a gravel trail next to the woods to get to his house, while the rest of the family were still eating. But just a minute after he left, he came rushing back into the house, out of breath and trying desperately to tell my grandparents that he saw something while on the walk home. They brushed him off. At this time, he was often rambunctious, and they probably assumed he was being goofy or was simply mistaken. But I volunteered to go outside with him and check, more so because I was sure he was being dramatic and wanted to poke fun at him. But sure enough, we walked up to the trail directly behind my grandma's house, and he stopped in his tracks. He pointed his little finger directly to the woods, and my eyes followed and landed about 5 yards in front of us. About yards in front of us. And then they later said it was supposed to be 3 yards in front of us. No, I'm lost. He pointed his little finger out directly to the woods, and my eyes followed and landed about 3 yards in front of us. I saw a 7 foot tall, pure black mass. I didn't know what to make of it. I kept waiting for some realization that it was a weird angle of a tree or tarp or something, but that never came. Instead, I saw that it had two small, dark, beady eyes and a flat, dog like nose, like a pug. I don't think it had a snout. And it wasn't cute, it was horrifyingly menacing. I didn't see hair or limbs or anything else distinguishable, except that it was shivering. Ever so slightly, it looked like it was buzzing or vibrating. This realization that this creature was something living instantly sent me into a panic, and my instincts took over. My cousin and I dashed back inside the house. He was running so fast that he tumbled along the way. We rushed inside and begged the rest of my family to come outside and take a look. My grandparents were busy washing up after dinner, so we asked two of my other cousins, aged 14 and 9-ish, to come outside with us and take a look. Why do you? Every single time.
I'm not bringing like the 9-year-old out there
Hey,
to
buddy,
experience this.
I have a friend we want you to meet. We marched back up to the spot on the trail where we saw the mass, and amazingly, it was in the exact same spot. The four of us just stood for a second, all staring at the large creature without knowing what the hell it was. My 14-year-old cousin took a small step towards the mass in an attempt to figure out what we were all seeing, but suddenly the creature flinched. I distinctly remember the creature looking almost like it jumped, maybe just an inch or so off the ground, but it was so fast and jarring that my brain again went into panic mode and I couldn't stop myself from dashing away back into the house. All three of my cousins followed right behind me. We begged and begged our grandpa to come outside to take a look. He poked fun at us and thought we were all joking around, which, to be fair, we did pull a lot of pranks back then. But after about an hour, we finally convinced him, so we let him out to the spot. We could point to exactly where it stood. However, it was no longer there. Of course. There's a small tree stump at the base where it stood, so to this day I know the exact spot where we saw it. Also, I'm 100% certain it wasn't a bear. I once saw a bear on its hind legs, and it's not even comparable. And also, this thing was there in the exact same spot for several minutes on end without moving. I've been asked why I didn't take a picture with my phone, but back then all I had was a flip phone. And more importantly, we didn't have cell phone service in that remote area until much later, so I didn't make a habit of carrying it around with me in the first place. It's also important to note that this figure terrified me. Alright,
Yeah.
I can imagine. I have one other experience where I saw a floating sphere of light when I was a kid, and this being calmed me despite me being much younger and in general much more afraid of the world. The huge 7 foot tall black mass terrified me to my core in a way that I can't explain other than instinctual, primal fear. And they say I also used AI to try to generate what I saw. These aren't exact, but these give you an idea of the general shape and size of the eyes. The first pic looks like Bigfoot, but I'm not convinced that's what I saw. And
Creepy.
yeah.
I don't like that.
And the creepiest thing about it is just that, like, it doesn't look like anything else.
Yeah, and it's just weird. Like it didn't do anything. Like it was almost scared of them.
Yeah, I don't
That's
know.
so
Like,
weird. 'Cause like usually when you see like figures like that, like you get like this sense of dread or just this like bad energy that hits you where you like can kind of tell like that it's has bad intentions, but it almost seemed like the way they were describing it was like this whatever creature it was like obviously scary looking and like
yeah.
crazy, but like kind of like reserved, like it wasn't sure or like was kind of scared of them.
Yeah, if you
I don't know, it's
come
weird.
across something that creepy, you don't expect it to just be like
Yeah.
hanging out.
And like jump when you move
Which
towards it.
honestly, that's almost more terrifying that it can just like sit there and have zero reaction and like wait for something to happen. And there are multiple people in the comments on the original post saying that they have seen something
Hmm.
similar. Which I mean, I've never heard or seen of anything described like this.
Yeah, me neither.
But one of the comments says, I've seen something similar, but it was less dramatic. My husband and I were walking in the woods. We each saw a black tail of smoke swoop across in front of us. Our dog seemed to sense something. A few moments later, we saw this mass again, but this time it was gathered, a shape, hanging in the air. It was about 2 feet off the ground, a long ovalish shape, and about 6 feet tall. It sort of swirled. It was not mist, like black wind. Then it was gone. It was the oddest thing I've ever seen. I'm so glad my husband saw it too. I have no idea what I saw, but what you saw reminded me of it.
Hmm.
And the OP said, this sounds really similar in the overall shape. Excuse me. When I envision it now, I consider it to be mist like and almost blurred around the edges, but I can't be certain that's accurate to how I saw it that day. And then they asked the commenter if they were like immediately scared or did it not phase you much. And they just said, I was amazed. It was too odd to be frightening. I wasn't scared.
Mhm.
Um, Somebody said they saw something similar in San Antonio.
I mean, I feel like them saying that they weren't really that scared and that they were just more like shocked and amazed by it makes me think that it wasn't like a bad energy type of thing.
It's like if it wasn't in the
Like
dark,
it was just kind of hanging out,
it would almost be like huggable.
I mean, maybe like whenever you're telling a story and you said how it like kind of jumped in the air when they moved towards it and was like shaking, I was like, "Oh, the poor guy."
I mean, the like,
It's probably just like a big teddy bear, but it just looks so
yeah, it
scary.
has like a little snout. Or no, they said it didn't have a snout, but it had
Like a
like a
little
nose,
puppy
like,
dog.
yeah. Like, oh, come here, give me a hug.
Oh my gosh.
Um,
Befriend the dark mass from the woods.
this is so weird that so many people are saying that you've seen something similar.
I know.
Fuzzy
I've
and
never heard anything
ragged,
like that.
shapeless looking.
That's so weird. It almost like not that this specific thing was in the show, but this has me thinking of Yellow Jackets cuz I just started watching Yellow Jackets. I'm
Oh
already like
my god.
no, I seriously think that you would like it.
I mean, probably.
But I'm not gonna lie, like usually TV shows like that, like kind of like the thriller kind of meant to be scary shows don't really get to me. This one is actually pretty scary.
Really?
Yeah.
Isn't it
It's
just
like
about like a
made me
plane
like
crash
scared
and
like
stuff
outside
though?
of the part. Oh, I thought it's way more
Oh,
than
so
what
is
I
it
was
more like
thinking.
paranormal and stuff too?
Yeah, it's like
Eek.
but okay, so I'll tell you as much of the like storyline as I can without spoiling anything.
How long
But
is this gonna take?
not
Okay.
I'll keep it short. But basically like yeah, they this group of high school girls, the soccer team, they're on their way to nationals because they're like really good and they're on a plane and they crash in what I don't know if it mentioned it and I can't remember, but I'm assuming it's the woods over like in the mountains near like the west coast.
Okay.
Or like not like near the ocean necessarily, but on that side of the country.
Okay.
And um for a while they are just kind of like living in the woods like trying to survive and slowly like weird stuff starts happening to them. Like it started off with like one girl, she was having like visions and stuff like that. And then it started happening to more of the girls and eventually I just started season 2 so I'm not fully through it yet, but over the course of the show so far, more things have been happening to the girls and like people start dying and lots of ritualistic, satanic, kind of creepy,
Hmm.
like almost like cursed woods kind of thing. Like, think of it as like Final Destination vibes.
Haven't seen it.
They're a bad energy that has attached to all of them that now that they're in the
Hmm.
woods. And so it flips between the point of view of them as young girls after the plane crash and the survivors in the future as adults. And this whatever it was in the woods that attached themselves itself to them is coming back to them in the future. So it's flipping back and forth and it's
Yeah, that's
really
way
scary
more than what I
actually.
thought
And
it
so
would be.
and just like the way that it's not like so crazy to where it's like necessarily unrealistic, but it's just so like I mean, I don't want to say like unrealistic cuz like it would still be pretty crazy if it happened. But you know what I mean? Like it's just so
Yeah, it'd be
like
crazy if it happened because it seems unrealistic.
yeah. But it's not like so insane to where it's just ridiculous, you know?
Yeah.
It's like enough to where it's like that's scary. Like I feel like that could actually happen. And so since you've been gone all weekend, that's why I've been
Hmm.
scared of that dark window in the bedroom. I don't know. Every night that I watch Yellow Jackets and I get in bed and I look out the dark window and I'm like,
Just don't look out the dark window.
but if y'all haven't seen Yellow Jackets and you like that kind of like horror stuff, you should so watch it. It's so good. I I don't know. I usually don't get through shows very fast. I'm a kind of a slow TV show watcher. I don't watch a lot of shows, but I started this show like 4 days ago. I'm already on season 2.
But you
So,
also have a very boring job and you can just sit there and watch
I mean,
TV.
yes, but like I feel like when it comes to shows like my attention span, unless I'm like super into it, my attention span isn't great when I watch shows, so I can usually only watch 1 or 2 episodes at a time before I kind of want to move on.
Are they like longer episodes
Yeah,
too?
they're like an hour. And so but this one is so good. I'll just sit there and I'll watch it for hours,
Yeah.
glued to the TV. Anyways, it's a little tangent, but
Cool.
so good. So the creepy wood stories remind me of that now.
Yellow Jackets sponsor us. I don't know how that would work, but
I don't
you got a
know.
fan over here. I don't really know anything about you, but
um, but yeah. Anyways, I guess that means it's my turn now.
yes, it is.
But I'm a little bit concerned about the next time that we go camping that I'm gonna be scared in the woods
I mean, you're
of
already
what could
kind of scared in the
happen.
woods anyway.
No, but now I'm gonna be
Please
even
choose
more
how close
scared.
you get to the mic.
This is what I've been the whole time.
Then you're like,
Because I had to
whoa.
grab my phone. I've been sitting like this the whole time.
You make my job hard.
Okay. The next story is called Weird Things I Saw When I Was Small.
Oh, when I
Yeah.
was small.
In the Ghost Stories subreddit. Posted by the user Ranger Holly.
Ranger Holly.
I only really tell the story to close friends because it sounds completely made up. This genuinely happened. I'll never forget these things. I've been listening to a lot of Reddit ghost story podcasts recently and figured I'd put this one on here. There were lots of times I remember seeing these things, but only a few instances really seared themselves into my brain enough to remember them as an adult. Anyways, here it goes. When I was around 7, we moved to a house in the middle of nowhere. The kind of place that it was forest for miles, your neighbors were far enough away they probably wouldn't hear you scream in the night. All the roads were made of dirt until I was a teenager and some got paved. There were no streetlights, no stores, and you had to drive 15 to 20 minutes in any direction to get to a town. As I got older, I would start going out to adventure on the roads at night, especially on nights where the moon was full so I could see better. I would walk to the nearby cemeteries to walk around there.
Oh my God.
There were 2 just down the street, or down to the river if I wanted to climb down the big hill past those, and splash around on the shore. But one night, in particular, I walked down to the cemetery I usually preferred over the other, as the path inside was newly paved, so it had a nice loop to walk and a good tree to climb in.
These gravestones are much cleaner.
They
the
just
ones-
described what they liked better
Yes,
about
I
it.
know. I just thought it was funny.
But as I came close, a tall, thin figure in a black suit popped up playfully from behind one of the trash cans on the road.
No.
This figure had to be 6 feet at least, stomach coming to about level with one of those tall green trash bins. His outfit was all black, but I could tell he was wearing a very tailored suit. On his head was a tall top hat and a white porcelain mask adorned with a big smile. I stopped walking, staring at this figure for a good second. It didn't move. I didn't move. But then it lifted a long, slender arm and waved at me before popping back behind the bin. At that moment, I didn't feel threatened, oddly enough. It almost felt like it wanted to play a game with me, but I was in no way interested.
Of course.
I was too freaked out to just turn around and leave, so I walked backwards. I kept my eyes on the trash bin until I couldn't see it anymore, before turning and running the rest of the way to my house. That seems like an actual smart reaction.
Yeah.
Versus
finally,
most of the
somebody's
stories
like,
we have.
I don't want anything to do with this. But
Right.
Also,
Most of the stories are like, I went back to the place with whatever, or I don't know. I keep going back. They always go back to the same place.
But at the same time, you're like willingly going to like graveyards in the middle of the night.
I mean, yeah, but like
So I
I
don't
get
really
it.
feel
Like
bad
if you're
for
a
you.
kid and that's the area you've lived in forever, and you're used to it, like I don't know, like that's not that crazy. But
To me, that's crazy.
by yourself, I guess is kind of crazy. I wouldn't want to go by myself, but
Or at all.
This was the first time I saw these things, but not the last, and he wasn't the only one. There was another time I had a friend over for a sleepover around the time I was in middle school. We were sitting outside my house just talking drama and whatever else tween-age kids do, but all of a sudden, my friend saw something out in the trees. She had heard all of my stories of these things before, so she stood up, ready to get out of there. But I hadn't seen it, so I was convinced it was just an animal or something prowling around at night. I stood up with her anyway, and we watched the tree line, waiting to see if we could spot it again. We waited and waited, and eventually, a little head poked its way out from behind a tree. This one was much shorter and more egg-shaped, with its own white porcelain mask. His had a frown, though. He was peeking out from behind a tree at us, then went behind again. Then he moved to another tree and peeked at us again, all the while getting closer. I have the vision in my head, and that's not cool.
Yeah. It's like, I'm picturing like a mix between like a Jason mask and like a Scream
Yeah,
mask.
something like that. I would be in that moment. I would be concerned that I have like people stalking me, and I'm like gonna get
Yeah,
kidnapped.
like that
Like
could just be a
people in
person.
masks trying to
Yeah.
like mess with me.
It's just like that. Oh, that's what I was thinking about. Since you've been reading this, I've been thinking about the American Horror Story
Yes, the
season.
cult one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
where they're just like,
In the grocery store, like
Uh-huh.
peeking around the aisles.
Yeah.
We were scared to move at first, but eventually we ran inside, woke up my mom, and told her everything we'd seen. She checked it out, but found nothing. These
course.
kinds of things went on for a long time while I was growing up in that house, and eventually we moved out. We bought a house in the town 15 minutes away when I turned 17 years old. Once we moved, these sightings mostly stopped, and I didn't bring the stories up much anymore. My mom and my, oh my gosh,
My mom and
it's happening again.
It's
My mom and my
happening
friends
again.
knew, but it became a topic we didn't discuss much anymore since they weren't around. So, the last scare they provided me happened when my sister and I went back out to visit our old home as teenagers. She'd just gotten her license, so we drove out on a rainy day to see how everything was. I was telling her all about a totally different story, about a girl I'd met in the cemetery once. We played and ran around, but a weird noise started coming from the woods. She wanted to see what it was, but I didn't want to wander off. So she went by herself. I waited, but she never came back. She wasn't a kid from town I recognized, and no one ever brought up her disappearance. I never saw the girl again. Then I started the, oh my god, I don't know if I ever told you about these things, and started spinning off the tales I told above. Eventually, midway through, she stopped the car and told me to stop. She was visibly upset and said, "You saw those things too?"
Oh man.
I was flabbergasted. I love that word. I use that word all the time. Always
Expecto
have.
patronum.
I learned that word when I was like 12 years old. Haven't looked back.
Can we just acknowledge for a second that Ned is like standing in the middle
Directly
of everything
in the
and
way,
cleaning
so I
himself?
can't see your face at all.
But he's been actively. That's all he ever does is just clean himself.
I mean, most cats do. Yeah.
But like, this is more than like.
I don't think so.
But I just think it's odd that he's the centerpiece for this episode.
Yeah.
I guess enjoy watching him. So if you're one of the few that only listen instead of watch, you are sorely missing out at the moment.
Yeah.
Oh, we've been talking about him too much. He's out of here.
He got camera shy. Anyways, we left off with the sister saying, "You saw them too?"
Mm-hmm.
I questioned back. Wait. I was flabbergasted. I figured I was the only one they were bothering. "You saw them too?" I questioned right back. She then told me about how she'd seen not only them, but the girl I'd described in our house. She was sick at the
This is
time,
ridiculous.
so she thought she was having a crazy fever dream, but I'd to the T described the things she's seen that night. I haven't seen them since, and I can't make sense of what they were, but they were definitely a fun little spooky thing I remember from time to time now. That's the end of the story.
That is terrifying.
I know. Like, that's another one where it's just like, it's creepy, but also like, it doesn't even seem that menacing. Like, it kind of just seems.
Can you imagine if like, okay, say these are spirits, not the girl, yeah, but also like the mask type people. But no, I'm not done.
Okay.
I have not resolved. Imagine like those creatures like wear a mask for a reason, and what is under that mask that they are trying to hide.
I don't know. I kind of thought of it as like, maybe it's like a ghost family that lived on or near that property a long time ago. And maybe the masks are like something that they used to wear, or maybe they died while having a party and they were wearing masks and they died
Oh,
somehow.
like a masquerade.
Yeah, like I don't know. I was thinking more like that's just like a part of them as like their ghost,
Yeah.
you know? But I don't know. Who knows?
But masquerades, you only cover your eyes.
Yeah. Well, I'm not saying it was a masquerade,
I know,
but just
I
a party
said,
of
but
some
then
sort.
I just corrected myself.
Yeah.
Right? You only
Masquerade ball, yeah.
You only cover your eyes.
Yeah, it's just like your nose and your eyes. Yeah.
Hmm.
But yeah, I don't know. I mean, even though like all the comments, there were only 3 comments and they were all like, "Oh, so playful. Oh, so fun." I don't know, like even if it did seem playful, I would not feel right about seeing a random masked figure popping out behind trees getting closer to me.
Yeah, no. Anything popping out behind anywhere in the middle of or like around a graveyard
Yeah.
is a no-go
Because
for me.
again, it's like, I don't know. I get like just seeing masked figures popping up, I would think I'm being kidnapped. I would think I'm being stalked and about to be
Yeah,
kidnapped,
it's
and
not
now
even
I'm in
about like
danger.
spirits
And
anymore.
yeah, that's what I would think right away. But I guess if like she also had the experience with like the ghost little girl and stuff, maybe it was just
Yeah,
more.
I don't know. That's freaky though.
Yeah.
I feel like we've
I wish
had.
we had like a picture of the masks, kind of, or like a little bit of a representation of what they
Yeah,
looked like.
I feel like the stories tonight have been very like different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Cool.
Can we take a quick break? I really need to go to the bathroom.
Go piss, girl.
Thanks. Okay, I'm back.
All right, you ready for the last story?
Yes.
Okay, so this person was like very adamant about me sticking to the script here, which I mean, we do that anyway, but they want to stay anonymous. Um, they said as long as you keep it serious and true to my experience, I am cool with it.
Okay.
Um, so sorry, I'm hitting random buttons. And this one's also quite different
All right.
compared to what we usually
He's not
have.
prepared once again.
Hmm?
You even had my bathroom break to prepare.
No, like I had the chat with them pulled up so I could
Mm.
quote that, and then my fingers and my brain just weren't working. So I was prepared. My phalanges were not. What?
Okay.
Why are you judging me?
Your phalanges don't have a mind of their own.
Okay, I like I was prepared to read the story, but my brain was not
Okay.
working.
Anyways, just okay.
This is supposed
Do
to.
you have the story ready yet?
Do I have the floor? Do I?
Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. From the paranormal subreddit posted 15 days ago. Had a subway encounter. My first thought was that he was a vampire.
Oh.
Just wanted to share this encounter that happened to me years ago that I still think about. I am someone who is very sensitive to people's energy, and I can sense without looking where this potential danger are. Oh my goodness, my brain shutting down. I am someone who is very sensitive to people's energy, and I can sense without looking when there is potential danger around me or just weird people. I live in Toronto, and one day I got on the subway train during the day. From the second I set foot in the train, I had this intense feeling of someone watching me who had a very strong presence. My eyes went straight to this man who was probably around 25 to 30 years old. He looked a bit younger than me, yet he felt like an old soul. I felt attracted to him. Dude, my brain, I'm like, I can't do anything right now. I felt attracted to him, pulled towards him. I wanted to stop looking, but it was really hard to look elsewhere. He was a good looking person, but nothing extraordinary. He was more on a gothic slash metal clothing style, had dark, wavy, and shoulder length hair, and eyes that were green. His attitude was really cold. He wasn't smiling, he was just there sitting. Quite frankly, I wouldn't be smiling if I was on a subway
No, if I look over
either.
at you and you're just sitting there smiling like for no reason, I'm gonna think you're a weirdo more than that
Yeah.
guy. Like what do you need to be smiling at nonstop? Sorry.
There was nothing seductive in his behavior, yet his charisma was out of this world, almost in a non human way. I felt mesmerized and uncomfortable at the same time. I could sense danger. It was mysterious, unnatural, and disturbing. I remember vividly his eyes and his energy. It was like I could feel it in my skin. So freaking weird. He had a lot of darkness around him. My first thought was that this person was a vampire. Then I removed this thought out of my head because even though I love vampire stories, I know that they are fictional. But from time to time, I think about this person slash entity and I ask myself, are they really just fictional? I have met tons of attractive and charismatic people, but this person was different. I truly believe there was something mystical about him. I am a spiritual person and I believe in past lives, spirits, people with unique abilities, so it is easy for me to believe that there are things out there most of us don't know about. I'm curious to hear similar stories. Um, P.S. I'm not saying this person was a vampire. It is just the first thought that popped in my head, but 100% some paranormal vibes happening around him.
I think vampire.
I don't know. Like, I don't know if I can get
I don't actually
behind
know, but
vampire
I
without more
just
information. Um,
it could have just been the way he was dressed that made her gave the vibes. But
somebody in the comments said a few years ago in Vancouver, my old sister was at the beach on a sunny day with her best friend when a charming pale Irishman with an umbrella sat and talked to them. They said he was hilarious and fun, so they invited him back to their place. Why would you invite random person? At 11 p.m., while in mid conversation, he suddenly lunged at my sister's friend and bit her in the neck, drawing blood. He licked the blood around his lips and smiled. Dude, no way. Before my older sister and her boyfriend yelled at him and ran him out. They called the police, but they didn't have enough info to go find the guy. Before this incident, I always entertained the thought of vampires might exist, at the very least, energy vampires. Now I have confirmation that blood vamps also exist.
oh my gosh, that's crazy. I was not expecting that.
That
oh my gosh.
lunge at, oh my god. OP responded to that and said, I have met some peeps who will easily drain your energy if you don't put boundaries, and I have read a bit about those people who are into blood play as some sort of fetish.
Dang, if that person was just like trying to like live out a fetish and didn't actually have vampire fangs, I mean, it would hurt either way, but like imagine how much more that would hurt, like with like not fangs to draw blood on your
Yeah.
neck. That would hurt
Mm-hmm.
really bad. I feel like that would hurt more than like two really sharp
Yeah.
fangs, but
Maybe they had like sharp canines.
they could have had like, you know how some people get like they're like permanent vampire teeth. They're not actually permanent, but
Yeah.
you can like glue them on. They last for like a long
Which
time.
is
Maybe they had those.
a little silly.
I don't think so. I think it's cool if you like that.
All right.
Yeah. I
On
don't
the
know.
flip side of that story, somebody in the comments said, are you a vampire? Is the question I get most often from strangers in public. I'm not sure why. I know I have genetic conditions that make me pale as a corpse, and I can't be in the sun very long or I suffer severely. But this post makes me think there might actually be something about my like vibes, energy. People randomly swerve out of their path to come talk to me about random things.
Hmm.
So yeah, I mean it could have been somebody that just like gave off that vibe. But like if you also had that like feeling of energy
Yeah.
from them, that matters too.
Yeah, for sure.
Um but yeah, so many different stories today
Mhm.
than usual.
Good
Very
variety.
interesting.
Yeah.
Um yeah. I think that's all I've got on that one.
All right.
Um
So we got vampires. We've got cutesy, cuddly black
dude, that
figures,
that vampire one was going to be a
masked
clip. That
people.
wasn't even supposed to be the actual story, but that's the lunging at
Yeah. That's pretty crazy. Even if that wasn't like anything paranormal, that's still
and
like
like imagine that guy like had some sort of like
disease.
disease or something
Yeah.
and you go and bite them near their
Oh
artery.
no. Yeah, I would be fearful that I was about to catch
Yeah.
something.
I mean,
That's awful. Can't even imagine. I can kind of imagine, but
I can think about it, but I don't really want
yeah.
to. All right.
Cool stories.
Yeah. Anything you want to say before we get out of here?
No.
Um,
I just I don't have anything.
the the band that I'm working with, their album, it has been pushed back a week, so it'll be first weekend in July. We have a date, but I'm not going to say anything else other
You
than
have
that.
a date.
I have a date with the
Oh.
band. Yeah. Nothing really to shout out right now or anything.
Yeah. I I've just been at home. I am loving this break from like traveling and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah,
All right.
anyways.
Thanks for joining us as
Yes.
always. And tell your friends about us, man. Like I feel like
Yeah.
I feel like we're plateauing a little bit, which I mean, I kind of expected that as far as like views and stuff. I mean, we still get decent views. I mean, if we're going based on like average of what we've gotten for every episode, we've had probably like 48,000 views on this podcast in total on YouTube. So I mean,
Okay.
it's pretty good, but we
Yeah.
can do better. And but I guess I could do better about posting clips and stuff. But anyway, yeah. Thanks for joining us, and we will
Thank you.
see you next week.
Bye.